Tails? Tails! You're not who I'm looking for. Oh, I wonder if he's okay.
Wow, I really love how Sonic just completely blows off that little girl like she's just dirt in the ground. Oh, you're not who I'm looking for. You're useless. Come on, Sonic, be a little bit more social. Like, be a human being for once. Like, oh my god. I mean, I know you're a hedgehog, but wow, holy sh**. Yeah, so we have ended up back at the pool area outside of the hotel. We actually landed right outside the entrance to Emerald Coast, where it all began for good old Sonic here. Yeah, Tails is... Well, we have no idea where the hell he is. His location and the whereabouts are currently unknown. We don't even know if the little fox is still alive. So I think it's time to start setting out to see what the hell is going on. So, but yeah, we are basically sent back to Station Square. All right, so what do you say we maybe look around, maybe we can see for the first time ever, we can actually see the sun about to set. This is like dusk time in Station Square. We haven't seen that in Station Square yet, so kind of cool to see like the sunset behind the palm trees. It kind of reminds you of I feel like this place has to take place in like Florida or something like that. I mean, the palm trees are kind of a dead giveaway or something. I don't know. Should I buy a swimsuit? I can't make up my mind, and the store is gonna close soon. Man, these citizens have first world problems, man. Like, what the hell is going on? We nearly lost our fox friend. That is all this girl cares about. I mean, I guess she wasn't with us, but she had to have seen us crash down from the sky into the beach. Like, I don't know. People are just really close-minded, I guess. We have a nice little couple here. What are they doing? Oh no, I'm so embarrassed. La 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 la, we're in love. The hotel manager saw anything. I'm the hotel manager, call me if you need anything. By the way, a girl with pink hair came here and headed toward the casino. And it looked like someone was chasing after her. Alright, so I think we know who he's talking about. So that's a signal that we need to go over to the casino area. But first, if you go up these stairs and hit these two switches, you can open an elevator door as well as spawn in a line of rings here. Using our Lightspeed Dash, we can now get the second of Sonic's abilities.
This is the Crystal Ring. This reduces the time needed to store power for the Lightspeed Dash.
Yeah, so this is essentially an enhanced upgrade to the Lightspeed Dash, which we already got down in the sewers. So now, basically, it's not like a huge difference, but yeah, you essentially are going to be spending less time charging up your Lightspeed Dash.
Sonic, wait up! Long time no see!
Amy!
What's wrong with you anyway? Listen, this birdie seems to be in trouble, so you need to be his bodyguard for a while.
You must be kidding!
If you don't, we're just gonna tag along anyway.
Alright, so we can now play as Amy, like she gave us a freaking choice. A little cringy, but we have a Station Square guard here. We'll fight till we drop. I don't know how much, but we gotta try. Something good is bound to happen, right? So he's kind of indicating something that he hasn't really mentioned here yet. But the railroad workers are essentially going on strike because there's actually a railroad strike happening here, actually in the game. So yeah, so now it looks like it's approaching nighttime here in Station Square. Still don't know where Tails is. We know Amy's still in trouble now. So that's another another item on the list that Sonic has to take care of because he's the main protagonist of the story, so we might as well dump a bunch of crap onto his plate here. We actually can't go in that little garage, little parking garage thing where those cars are pulling out of, but we have more Station Square guards here. We'll fight till we drop. We have to stand up for our rights. You do that. Oh, are you a customer? We're on strike. We're protesting for better working conditions. I can't hate on that. It may become a long battle. Yeah, I honestly, these guys they're doing the Lord's work. Like, they're doing more work than I would ever do for any industry that I would be working in, but you gotta fight for your rights. I mean, these guys are ultimately gonna be looked at as heroes, you know, when we look back on our history here, so you gotta envy them a little bit. I do.
Ah, look! Eggman's robot's on the loose!
No problem! He's just a chunk of cheesy hardware.
Whoa!
Oh, now what? Huh?
Look here! It says, cute couples get in free!
That girl is such a pain.
So after dealing with Amy's nonsense, we are now thrown into the next stage, Twinkle Park. So this is another pretty interesting stage. So we have bumper cars here that are going to appear at the very beginning of the stage here. These are kind of interesting. So the bumper cars are actually going to be not only utilized in the beginning of this stage, but also a sub minigame stage that we are able to complete anytime after completing this stage here. So the Twinkle Circuit, as it is called, is actually a sub minigame that is located directly outside of the entrance of this level, and you essentially are just driving this bumper car in order to get the highest score possible. So you're completing I think it's a 3-lap course in the bumper car, and you actually have the opportunity to earn additional Sonic emblems to do that. But like I said, we're not going to do that right now. We're going to kind of just focus mainly on the main story here for Sonic's story, just because it is the longest, and I just want to kind of get through it a little bit quicker. But yeah, so right here, as you can see, we are able to destroy enemies by gaining enough speed in order to crash into them with the bumper car. Something that's also interesting is you have the number of rings actually located on the back of the bumper car, so you can see how many rings you have, which is but yeah, so this first part of the level, we have kind of an interesting spin on a Sonic stage where we're driving a bumper car. We can destroy enemies throughout our path, and as long as we don't hit the walls too many times, we can gain enough speed in order to speed right through this section. Of course, we want to make sure that we are collecting a good amount of rings, that way we can add that to our score once we get to the end of the level, of course, like we've done, I don't know, pretty much throughout every stage already. We will then enter the second half of the level, which is going to kind of act as a more standard Sonic stage for this game. So, but it is kind of cool. I do like the spin on this. They did do something like this also in Sonic Adventure 2 with Tails. I don't want to spoil too much in case anybody has, or in case there's people out there that haven't played that yet. But I personally like the spin on these stages, and I know I kind of gave a lot of crap for the the flying stage where we had Tails kind of flying the plane and Sonic on the back, where we're just kind of shooting stuff in the sky around Eggman's ship. But I gotta say, I do like the idea of kind of adding kind of these sub stages, or certain parts of the stages that are may operate or may just be structured a little bit differently than you would see in a typical Sonic game. So this is a bowling section here where we have these pins, and we can actually use Sonic as essentially a bowling ball. If I was able to get a strike there, I would have gotten a bunch of rings out of this crown. So these guys, I'm not entirely sure what those guys are called, but they always creeped me out as a kid. They just look like big green alien guys, and they just always creep me out the way they moved. But there I got a strike, so as you can see, my reward is a ton of rings. Kind of cool if you want to, gain a high score pretty quickly. You can get a good amount of your rings just by doing that little bowling minigame there, so that's kind of cool. We are now kind of platforming around that carousel area. That's actually pretty neat as well. And we have a lot of enemies in this stage. I would say this stage probably has the most enemies in the entire game compared to the other stages. These monkey guys are kind of annoying because they can throw bombs at you. I never really pointed this out already, but you obviously want to make sure you avoid them, because that's a very easy way to lose all of your rings. And if you're going for a good score, which I'm not really intending on doing that this entire playthrough, you want to make sure that you take out those enemies as quickly as possible before they have a chance to throw their bombs at you and blow you up. We're now on the top of these little pillars that kind of resemble like a castle. We can see a cool little night sky. It almost looks like we're in outer space, but I'm not entirely sure if this is just at nighttime or whatnot. But Twinkle Park just always kind of gave me, like, I don't know, like different dimension vibes. Like it feels like we're not even close to Station Square anymore. I don't know. It just kind of feels like we've entered an entirely new dimension, or an entirely new world, or whatever. But this part right here can get kind of tricky. You have to be pretty nimble here, because you have to kind of stay on top of this roof. I believe if you fall off, you have to kind of make your way back up here in order to progress. But we have all these switches here. They're not required to hit, but they will give you a little bit of a boost, because you can utilize your light speed dash when they spawn those rings in the on top of the roof there. So Yeah, kind of cool castle there. That actually reminds me of Princess Peach's castle from maybe Super Mario 64 or something. It has, I don't know, it just kind of gives me those type of vibes for whatever reason. But here, as you can see, we're already at the end of the stage. We have another animal machine here that we need to press the button in to release the animals. So that's all we really needed to do. Not too long of a stage, and we are done with it. So not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
Welcome to Twinkle Park.
Oh, shoot! I've lost Amy. I bet that robot hauled butt after her. I'd better catch her before it does.
So yeah, as you can see right here is Twinkle Circuit. That is where we, if we wanted to, we can go and play that little bumper car racing game. But we're going to hold off for now. And it looks like we have another item of interest that has just spawned in. A weird-looking robot. Yes, I saw it. It went into that big building. All right, so he's actually referring to this building right here, some sort of technology building. So we will have to enter in there. And if we go over here where this employee card spawned, we can actually use it to magically open up that door. Yeah, so the way that ID cards work now, or card keys to get into buildings, is you just have to hold them up to a door with no magnetic strip, no lights, nothing to indicate that it's opening. It just knows I guess it just has a sensor that knows that we're holding the card key in our hands. Pretty damn cool. The future is endless with possibilities. But anyways, we have now entered the next stage, so we're jumping right through this thing. Yeah, this is kind of where the game just decides, you know what, enough story cutscenes, enough freaking dialogue. We just need to, progress you through the game. So we're just going to jump you from one stage to the next, which I don't really mind it, especially for Sonic's gameplay. I just love whizzing right through all of his stages as fast as possible. And again, it's one of the reasons why I love playing Sonic. I think really anybody's reasons for loving Sonic. We have a nice little bell there. We're going to ring that for a little bit of nostalgia. Because I always did that when I was younger, when I first played this game. But yeah, Speed Highway is an interesting level as well. So I'm assuming this connects Station Square to some maybe some other cities nearby. But this level actually did make a return in Sonic Adventure 2. But I always thought that was interesting, and you can actually grab a hold of that helicopter, which I always thought was cool. To kind of get from one section of the road to the other. This place is pretty wild though, because we have a lot of highways that are like broken up into pieces. So I think this is essentially indicating that Eggman has already made his rounds, maybe with his robots. Obviously his robots are located all over the world here, but it's kind of cool how they kind of show you even this is just like a typical highway that like regular people take. And there's obviously a lot of citizens around Station Square. So he's already begun his destruction of just basic structures, which is kind of scary in a way. Now that we have broken through that glass, we are now running down a building. This is essentially like a skyscraper. I love this. This was always one of the more memorable parts of this game to me as a kid. Very similar to when we were running away from the whale in the very first stage, Emerald Coast. It's just one of those things that you always stays with you when you play this game for the first time. And again, it goes back into what I was saying and adds more depth to my opinion that this game had a lot more charm than some of the newer modern 3D Sonic games, just because it added very simple things like that, and elements where they're just things that stick in your mind, memorable things like running down a skyscraper, snowboarding away from a giant avalanche is about to kill you, running away from a killer whale. Like, these are things that just stay in your mind, especially if you play this as a kid. I mean, kids remember everything, man. Like especially somebody like me that played video games like all the time when I was younger. That's just stuff that you just never forget. But here we have more of like a downtown area. I don't think we're in Station Square. I think it's like a completely new area. We have a cool little fountain there in the center. I always thought that was kind of cool. We're going to jump up here. This is essentially the end of the stage, so kind of an interesting stage. We start on the highway and we end up in downtown. We're going to ring that bell for good luck, and we have finally completed this stage. So we will release the animals once again and foil Eggman's plan as an animal abuser. It always makes you wonder, like, where the hell does he find all these animals, and why is he like capturing them? Because he's the one that is doing this, right? I never really, really thought about that too much, but I'm assuming he's the one that puts them in those capsules. So I guess that building somehow connected through a city and a highway, and it landed us all the way back to the other side of the town. So that's kind of interesting. But this is where we end up. So we're actually on the other side of Station Square. We have the news shop that's open here. There's a girl actually working behind the counter. Well, here's today's news. The paper says the train strike must stop. Early settlement needed. I stayed at a hotel last night. What a waste of money. Yeah, these people just have like the littlest things to complain about. I'm telling you, like the very smallest problems. See, the trains are on strike, so I don't have to work. I have so much spare time now. Alright, this guy is obviously getting too much excitement out of not having to work. I'm curious how he's able to pay his bills and keep the lights on, but I guess he just is overworked to the point where he just doesn't want to do anything. So yeah, we still have to find Amy. She is still in the city, so we need to, actually, I think we need to go back into the hotel. If I remember correctly, let's talk to him. I'm the hotel manager. By the way, about those 3 over by the pool, I wish they'd do that someplace else. Alright, so he's talking about some NPCs over here that are, I guess, hanging around the pool. So we'll go and talk to them and see what's going on over here. Some side drama. The worst part is that nobody feels guilty. I don't understand why you two are so angry. Try to relax, okay? Can you believe it? He was seeing another girl. I can't believe this. The worst part is that nobody feels guilty. So man, this is quite a douche. He's I guess dating 2 women at once, and they're just now finding out about it. Man, what a typical man. You're horrible. You're a pig. Get out of here. You're no longer allowed in Station Square, according to Sonic. Like he's the new mayor now, because got to keep douches like you out of here. So, but anyways, yeah, some little side drama with the NPCs is always fun. While we have a lot more important matters to tend to, like I don't know, possible world domination happening here. Come on, get it together, people. Like I think we have bigger fish to fry.
Amy? Oh man, where can she be?
Ah! Sonic! Help!
I'll cut him off at the Mystic Ruins.
Alright, so yeah, terrifying sight to see. We have officially witnessed a giant robot whisking Amy away very menacingly. So we need to go and see where they're taking her. The negotiations went well. All aboard for the Mystic Ruins. I guess they finally came to a settlement for that damn railroad strike. I mean, that went on long enough, didn't it? Everybody deserves a fair pay. I don't know why no one understands that. They will work harder if they're paid more.
Let me go, you hunk of junk! I mean it!
Hey there, Bolt Brain! You better give Amy to me or I'll squash ya! Hey, what's happening here? Stop!
Sonic, help me!
Shoot! I've lost her again!
So our damsel in distress has been kidnapped. Where have we heard that before? So it looks like we are given a clue to go to the top of the mountain. So that's what we need to do right now. So let's go ahead and do just that. We're going to travel through our little new cave entrance that we just opened not too long ago. We head over to the mountaintop. This is actually Angel Island. We have never been here before. It's now open to us. Very beautiful. Gotta love the scenery here. We're going from, we're traveling between very different landscapes now. We have some more researchers out here. Did you see that flying battleship? That was cool. I wonder who made it. It flew off towards the mountains. I wonder if I should have followed it. Oh, what a weirdo. He's just so into things that are like not typical things people would be into. Who knows? We have a monkey right here that's trapped in a cage with a light beneath it. He's actually the reason why that door is actually locked. But if we go right here, we will find the last of Sonic's 3 upgraded abilities.
This is the ancient light. Try the light speed dash toward the enemy. With this, you can now do the light speed attack.
So we have now gained the light speed attack. That pretty ball of light has told us. So what we can do now is we can actually attack enemies using our light speed charge up. Before we do that, that's actually what we need to do to destroy that monkey to get to the next stage. But first, I wanted to show off this little central area here. This is where the Master Emerald rests. Kind of cool that you get to see this thing just in like the main overworld. This place is pretty enormous, and it's kind of cool how expanded that this Mystic Mountain area gets. But this is Angel Island right here, so a cool little skyline view there, just like we had in Mystic Mountain. Pretty interesting, but just want to kind of show that off. So yeah, this overworld just keeps expanding and just gets larger and larger every day that we are here. So but now we need to utilize our light speed attack on that monkey because he is standing in the way between us and progressing to the stage or the next stage.
Monkey guard wasn't there.
Yeah, so that monkey guard is right there. Charge up your light speed attack, and then you can actually now attack enemies by charging up and letting go. And we have now officially entered Red Mountain, the 7th stage of the Sonic story. And I know you're thinking, wow, what a generic name. Just slap a damn color in the title and just call it what it is, a damn mountain. But really, honestly, aren't most of the stages in this game just named after like colors and like a generic object or structure? We had Emerald Coast, we had obviously Red Mountain, we had Ice Cap. I mean, I guess that's not ice isn't a color, but you get the idea. There's elements and color names being thrown out there. It's kind of the standard for Sonic Adventure stage naming. I mean, hell, it's the standard for most Sonic games as far as naming their stages, you know, even in the past. But anyways, we're not going to talk too much about that. One of the main gimmicks in this stage is we have, of course, more of these rockets. We've already seen these in previous stages already, but we have a lot more located in Red Mountain. They do make a return in Sonic Adventure 2, and from what I remember, they are used a lot more in that game versus this one. But this, I believe, was actually the very first 3D Sonic game where they were introduced. Obviously, knowing that this was pretty much the official first 3D platformer in the Sonic series, but or the true one, first true one. You get the point. But these guys are kind of annoying. They will blast a ring of fire at you, and you have to essentially get to the middle in order to take them down before they burn you with fire. Of course, if they burn you, you lose all your rings, and that's just not something that's always fun to do or to go through. Another gimmick of the stage, as you saw right there before, was we were actually taking a zip line through various tunnels and various crevices throughout this mountain. And I have to say, I do like that. The fact that we have these rockets that we can use to blast ourselves forward and gain a lot more ground, and as far as getting around the mountain a lot quicker. And in addition to that, we also have those zip lines to kind of just zip us through the stage as quickly as possible, because it just adds more to the whole speed mechanic when it comes to Sonic's stages, because that's what his stages are known for, speeding through from beginning to end as quickly as possible. Here we have a switch hidden underneath that mallet that's about to, slap us silly or smack down. That's about to come down on our head very fiercely. Of course, you just want to make sure you're waiting for it to go up, and then you hit the switch in order to activate that rocket. We have another zip line right here. Just going to zip on through. We're just zipping on by the mountain, and we have no worry in mind. Go down here, and we will have the second half of the level. We are now underground. So this is another reason I really like this stage. And really most of the stages, they have these two, they essentially separate phases of the stage where, at first we're outside on the mountain, scaling around a giant mountain. Now we're underneath with a bunch of lava. So kind of cool. Again, we add a little bit more variety and diversity to just the landscapes that we're, kind of platforming around and traveling through. So that's always really fun. Of course, more enemies located down here. But yeah, it just kind of adds a little bit more intensity and a little bit more layers to each of the stages as we play through them. Obviously, we went through an ice stage, we had a beach stage, and now we have a mountain, and now look at us. Now we're underground with a bunch of lava. So they really go all out when it comes to just adding that variety. And again, just all the different types of scenery that we've seen already throughout each stage. And we're only in Sonic's story, so I know And I will go ahead and just say, you know, the stages coming up in the later stories, or the other characters that we have yet to play through, a lot of them are just repeated stages that we're playing through right now as Sonic. So that's, if I have one gripe about this game, that would probably be one of the main ones, where I feel like the other characters could have gotten a little bit more, they could have been a little bit more specialized, where they had more unique or creative stages for that specific character, versus just having the same stages over and over again, and just kind of recycling the same stages we've already played throughout the game. Hell, even the cutscenes you'll see kind of later on, once we get to Tails' story, they're essentially just recycled cutscenes, just with a oh wow, I'm doing horrible here avoiding these flames. But they're just recycled cutscenes, just with more of an emphasis on the actual character that you're playing as, which I don't necessarily hate that. Again, this was, you know, one of the earlier 3D platformers in the Sonic series, so I can't really give too much hate, but just a nitpick that I just really have with this game in general. But that was it. That was Red Mountain. We, again, released more animals, and we move right along. Chasing the egg carrier and hopefully finding where Amy was taken to.
Hey, Sonic!
Tails! I'm glad you're okay. Ready to roll, champ? Let's go!
Roger!
Ready to roll? Let's roll. Yeah, so love it or hate it, we are doing this stage once again, except this is Act 2 of Sky Chase Act, or Sky Chase Zone 2.0, I would call it, since we've already kind of seen something like this in an earlier game. We've already talked about that, so I'm not going to go over that again. But yeah, this time we have a little bit more of a darker atmosphere. Tails has rebuilt his plane, the Tornado 2.0, as I like to call it. I actually don't remember the official name for the plane. I think it's just the Tornado or whatever. But yeah, so it's blue and yellow now instead of red. Obviously, the original had a little bit of an issue. We kind of got blasted out of the air with it, so it's pretty much permanently damaged. Apparently, Tails' workshop is not able to repair it. Although I do not think that he ever located it. I think it's pretty much lost in the toss and somewhere, I don't know, somewhere left to die. So, but yeah, he has rebuilt, or built a new plane. So we are now, again, able to chase down Eggman's egg carrier. This is where he has taken Amy. She's actually been taken hostage. And we are now just focused on getting the highest score possible by shooting down all of his enemy ships once again. I know I hated on this, the first stage of this earlier when I played it, and I don't really know why, because I'm kind of having second thoughts. This is a fun stage. I just think it kind of, I don't know, maybe takes away the actual, it almost feels like you're not even playing a Sonic game anymore. But again, I've seen worse games that had flying or plane stages, you know, looking at you, Crash Warped. This one's not too bad, I have to say. It's actually pretty fun. Alright, so once again, we are now aiming directly at the plane. So we're actually flying from the front of it to the back. One thing to keep in mind is you want to take out and target all of these damn cannons that are firing missiles at you, because they can damage you pretty easily. It is pretty difficult to actually die. I have done it before, and it's really not like something that's uncommon, I would say, but really, if you're good, it's probably not going to even come close to that. So you should be able to maintain at least over half of your health. Honestly, I'm not even sure why they give you a health bar, but you just want to make sure you take out these cannons right here. Those red cannons, they are hard to see because they blend in with the color of Eggman's egg carrier. So they kind of can be hard to spot at first, especially if you're far away. Because I mean, I've played this game many times, and even I'm playing this now, like I can't see them from a certain distance away because they're just really far away, and they all look like the same color as the ship. So you can't tell if they're cannons, if they're just part of the ship. But once you do locate them, you should take those out immediately in order to kind of save your health meter there. And I don't remember if that actually affects your final score in these stages, but I would do it just in case. But anyways, that's pretty much going to be it for this. So it looks like We are heading straight towards the nothing there, the endless skyline. Now we have turned around again. We are now tasked with taking out Eggman's egg carrier head on. Yeah, so last time we got shot down by that laser. This time we're not taking any shit. We are taking the front of his ship on, head on. We just have to wait for that front part to open there as he charges up his gigantic laser beam. And enough times blasting it with Tails' ship and it will be done. Unfortunately, we only achieved 73%. I don't think I've ever gotten over 75% in this. I don't know, I just can never do it, but there you have it.
Alrighty, we're in!
We gotta land on the egg carrier.
Whoops. I forgot something.
What's that?
There's no landing gear in this mode.
What? Wow, this thing is really huge.
No time to gawk now. We need to find Amy.
You're right, my friend. So here we go.
Seriously, Tails, like how can you actually give us any kind of lip at all when you forgot to install a damn landing gear? Yeah, let's land on Eggman's egg carrier, but let's not install a damn landing gear in my damn tornado. What the hell are you thinking, man? I don't know. Tails is kind of dropping the ball at this point. But yeah, here we have it. We have officially landed on the egg carrier. This is yet again another overworld section of the game. So yeah, if you thought Station Square and Mystic Ruins, those areas were pretty large and there was a lot to explore there.
Don't get too many ideas, you fools! You haven't seen the power this vessel really has! Get a load of this!
Changed shape. Did you see that?
Darn! This makes it harder for us to get to the bridge.
I hate it when he doesn't listen.
I bet you weren't expecting this. The only way you can get to me is through the sky deck. I doubt if you can figure this one out.
Oh yeah? Well, I'll show you. Bring it on.
Right, so yes, we are looking for the sky deck. And this thing is letting us know the entrance is officially open. Yeah, lots to explore here, but if you just walk a few feet over here...
This must be the way to the sky deck.
Sonic points out the obvious. So yeah, that was pretty hard to find, wasn't it? But no, we're gonna actually go inside. Welcome to the 8th stage of hell. This is the sky deck, and this has to be probably my least favorite stage. And the main reason for that is because of, well, Exhibit A. But no, so for me, this stage isn't terrible. I mean, I can probably think of many other stages and other platformers that are much, much worse than this stage. But just for this particular game, this one just doesn't really... This one is just probably not my favorite. And the main reason is because even though we've had stages where, yeah, I mean, you can pretty much easily fall off, you know, if you're not careful of where you're going, things like that, you know, you can easily die, whatever. With this stage, I don't know what it is, but the combination of these rotating platforms right here that we have to essentially balance ourselves with to get from one platform to the next, while in the air with a bunch of endless clouds and death beneath us, it just for some reason bothers me, and I don't know why. I've never been that great at this stage. And then another reason is right here. So this little ramp walkway thing that you have to essentially speed through to get to the next section, for whatever reason they put these giant spike ball things in those pathways. So right here's another example. These things, this walkway is really meant for you to kind of just speed right through it, but for some reason these giant balls with spikes are placed right directly in your path, making it a little bit difficult to actually speed through this. I never really understood why they had those spike balls placed in, like right here, it makes sense, but right in that ramp area, I don't understand why they had the placement of those there when it would have been a lot more, I don't know, fun. It would have been way more fun just to kind of speed through those ramps and then maybe get to the section where you have to kind of slow down and be careful where you're going. I don't know, maybe I'm just nitpicking, that's just me, but I just never really have been that crazy on this stage, and I think those are the main reasons why. And also, I never really understood why they numbered these rotating platforms that you have to, rotate around. Like right here, they have arrows pointing you in the direction of where you need to go. However, like the number 1 right here, we'll see more of those numbers. I never really understood the purpose of that. Maybe it's just there to just be there, or there's, maybe a specific purpose that Eggman has these things numbered for. I don't know. But as you saw there was a giant cannon in the middle of the stage that's going to blast away your pathway here. Not really too hard to avoid it. If you are a little bit too slow, you can die there pretty easily. So, but really not too difficult. But yeah, that's really my main gripe with the stage. Otherwise, it is a pretty cool looking stage, I guess. It is essentially, indicating that we are progressing throughout the game, and we are obviously traveling around the egg carrier, and we're doing what we need to do here. And this portion right here is also a little bit weird. So we have this strong wind that is going to blow us around a little bit. So you essentially have to make sure that you are staying very close to certain objects or walls in order to catch yourself or to block the wind. That way you don't get blown around or even blown off the entire ship itself. Another thing that kind of sucks is these enemies right here. We have seen these enemies before, but this time around, I actually believe this is the very first time that this has occurred, is they now will spawn in with this static electricity that is actually on a timer and will appear off and on, meaning that you cannot hit this enemy once it has this electricity around it. Yeah, even if you have a shield, you cannot attack or kill these enemies at all if they are doing that electricity thing. So you kind of have to time your hits when you're damaging the enemy, or just avoid them altogether, which is mainly what I do unless they're just simply blocking my path, like those ones back there. Or you also have these cannons. We pretty much saw those. We have seen them before when we were doing the sky chase zones, and now we have to kind of face them head on. So, but yeah, but for whatever reason, I can never get through the stage without taking at least a good amount of damage. So collecting a good amount of rings and having a higher ring count by the end here is going to be a little bit more challenging for me. And it may just be a me thing, I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there that are thinking like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, this is nothing. But I don't know, I'm just not one of those people, I guess. We have more of these rockets. We actually have to line this up to where the rocket will actually shoot through that cannon. We can't hit any other part of the cannon. We have to just hit the part right there that's firing. So once we do so, that'll bust open, and that will actually allow us to access another part of the sky deck. So here is where they start to play a little bit with the gravity. Your angle is going to be a little bit different depending on which way the ship is tilting. I do believe we get the opportunity coming up to actually maneuver or alter the direction of the tilt of the ship. I think that may actually be another character later on, like Knuckles, but for some reason it always just kind of throws me off. I don't know. One good example of gravity changes that are done well in a platformer would be like Super Mario Galaxy. Here it's done in a way where I don't know, I don't really care for it. I get the idea and kind of what they were going for to kind of add a little bit more difficulty. We are essentially in the later part of the story of Sonic, and these are going to these are essentially the last few stages. We only have like 2 more stages left. So I do understand why, it has to get a little bit more challenging, but I don't know why. It just throws me off. Like right here, like that jump, it's just kind of a pain in the ass to make, in my opinion. Like I feel like it could have been, I don't know, maybe a little bit less frustrating to kind of make some of these jumps when you're, platforming across of these, when you're doing, a little bit of platforming with the different direction changes. So I don't know, I complain too much. I'm just going to try to focus on getting through this thing. But yeah, to sum it up, this really isn't my favorite stage in the game, or with, for Sonic's story in particular, I guess. So if we can finally make it on top of this damn platform, I can actually get over there. This part right here always, for some reason, just gives me a lot of trouble. I don't know why. Again, just like the shift in direction of like the tilt, it just kind of throws me off. I think if I get higher up here, I'll get a little bit more height in order to make that jump, so that'll do just fine. And we have these escalators here. We want to take these. Of course, we want to get in the right direction there. That way we're progressing, or we're moving ourselves forward and not backwards. That's always good. Some more rings to collect here. And yeah, so here we have another gravity change here. We have to, also we saw these in the Red Mountain where we had these little kind of monkey bars, as how I like to kind of look at them as, to kind of maneuver around the ship as well. So we have a bunch of spring pads down here, so if we do fall off, it's not that big of a deal as long as we don't fall in the wrong direction. We can easily just kind of bounce back up here and kind of continue where we left off. And then here is, I believe, yep, okay, so camera's going to change there, and we're going to see a bunch of objects being dropped not far from us, from the very top here. Well, I don't really know the top of the ship because there's been so many damn angle changes and camera changes, but essentially just want to avoid those and you should be good to go. We get a good chance to get a good amount of rings. We get an amazing chance to get a good amount of rings here, so I would take the opportunity to collect some of these if you're behind on rings. Again, I'm not really caring about the score in these stages, so I'm just going to move right along. We should be getting kind of close to the end here. I know we have a little bit left to go. But yeah, apart from that, the positives of the stage, I really like the sky view from up here. I think some of the camera angles can look pretty cool. You get to see obviously we're literally on a ship that's flying in midair, so it's kind of cool to see all the clouds from many different angles and directions. Yeah, for the most part, it's not too bad. But here's the end of the stage. Let's break this capsule open, freeze the animals, and get to going here. We have a woman to save. Sonic's lover is in a very difficult situation. So let's go ahead and make it our way over to her. You're at 10 emblems already. That's crazy.
Is that it?
It might be, but let's check out the bridge.
Alright, so we are now inside of the aid carrier. We've not actually seen the inside of it yet. Entry restricted. Yeah, so some of these doors we will not be able to enter right away. Later on, that might be a little bit different. Hint, hint. I don't know why I'm acting like, I'm acting like there's so much suspense in a game that's been out for decades. I'm sure nobody is surprised of anything happening in this game, but we have these little robot guys that are inside of the ship. I think this is kind of cool. It kind of expands on the ship a little bit more, and it kind of shows you that Eggman is not just a one-man job here. He's not just a one-man show. He does have robots that he created and built to, help even clean up the ship too, which is kind of cool. Obviously, he's well known for creating all kinds of different robots, so it only makes sense.
Sonic!
Ha! They're too late!
Not the birdie!
A Chaos Emerald!
No way!
Be gone, all of you! This is all I really need! Gamma!
What is your wish, Master Robotnik?
Get rid of these pests! Show them what you've got!
Aye, aye, sir.
And don't disappoint me, or else...
At last, we have the introduction of E102 Gamma, and we're gonna die as soon as we enter this fight. Again, just like all the other fights, very easy. Hit him 3 times and he will go down. One of my favorite characters in the series, and this is the first time we are introduced to him. I know he's a robot, but he probably doesn't have a gender, but he's got a manly voice, so why not?
Aside, Amy! Out of my way!
No! This robot is my friend! He helped me! Don't hurt him!
Okay, whatever you say. You must have your reasons. Get out of here!
Well, what about you?
I'll find that Eggman and put him out of commission.
So we can now officially play as E102 Gamma. Again, a lot to be revealed with that character. We'll see that later on. Here's Amy.
Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?
You know, it is nice to have someone that is looking out for our well-being and our safety. That's always nice. Let's see what Tails has to say. Let's see what Tails has to say.
The egg carrier's losing altitude.
Alright, so not very talkative. We don't have a lot to hear from them, apparently.
The recovery system activated.
He's activating an auto recovery system, so we are lucky to have a robot on our side.
If I'm to continue, I need to change this ship back to its original shape. There must be a switch somewhere on the bridge. I've got to find it now.
Alright, so that's letting us know that we need to find a hidden switch, obviously, because he just said that. If we go into this room here, we can actually hit a switch that will give us a line of rings. We know what to do with this. We've only done this a few times already. Beautiful red light of joy there is going to give us a hint that we need to hit the button. I think we could have figured that out on our own, but it's alright. We are now in the captain's room. I don't really know if that's the name of the room, but sit inside of it, it will pull out, and we can hit a switch behind it.
Emergency alert has been cancelled. Resuming monorail operation.
So we now have the power to control the operation of the ship. Yeah, so Eggman was not clever enough to hide that big damn switch that's just hidden behind a big old chair. So we have the power to actually manipulate the movements of his own egg carrier. Very nice. How dumb is he?
Oh no! Not again! Chaos! Could this be the same beast?
Oh yes! Attack Sonic now!
Froggy? I must say Froggy!
If he's your friend, I'll help you. Just leave it to me.
Now I have 6 of the Chaos Emeralds. There's only one more left to find. I even found Chaos's missing tail.
You won't get away with this, you madman!
I will! You're no match for Chaos, even though he's not perfected yet. Okay, Chaos, destroy them all immediately!
And here it is, the next face-off against the Chaos Beast. Chaos 6. This one is a lot more threatening looking, and he's actually no joke in this fight. However, this fight can be stupid easy if you know exactly what to do, and I do, fortunately. So Eggman is going to shoot out these little bombs, so he's actually kind of helping us. So these little bomb things, I don't know exactly what they're called, but if you hit them, they will essentially freeze. And if Chaos gets close enough as they explode, it will then cause it to freeze itself because it is made of water. So maybe they're ice bombs or they're like, I don't know exactly what they are, but you need to hit them when Chaos is basically like inches, you know, just inches away from them. And then once they do that little exploding thing, once they go off and Chaos is in the path, it will freeze, allowing you to hit it, of course. I believe it takes like 4 or 5 hits, like we had to do in the lily pad fight. But yeah, not too big of a challenge here. It is a little bit more threatening looking, but it's pretty much cake to take it down. Now, I have to say, up until this point, Eggman has kind of been pretty incompetent, and he's come off as kind of a joke. But in that cutscene earlier, he seems a lot more serious and sinister. So I guess he's not messing around anymore. He's a little bit more threatening and intimidating in this scene for some reason. But we went ahead and made fine work Chaos once again.
No way! I can't believe this!
Sonic! Hey there, Knuckles! Glad you finally made it! I thought you got lost or something.
Until we meet again, Sonic!
Stop! Come back here!
Man, Sonic is so agile, he's such a careless daredevil, he's just gonna jump right off the ship chasing Eggman.
Ah, I hate Eggman. Where's this? That light! I think it's trying to show me something.
We can now play as Big, which it's kind of random because we didn't really, I guess we saw Big pop up there on the egg carrier for a split second, but it's kind of a weird timing for that to happen. But as you can see, we have now been sent to another new location. So if you thought the overworld was still pretty large already, it gets even larger. We're entering the 9th stage, the Lost World. So we have an ancient ruins here, pretty mysterious, pretty mystical if you say so, or if I say so myself. But we are now exploring the inside of it. This is a really cool looking level, I have to say. There's a lot more levels that look like this in Sonic Adventure 2, and I hate to compare that game with this one, but it only makes sense because it is the direct sequel to the game. Yeah, I really like this stage. It is pretty damn long though. That's my main issue, is this stage. And I mean, we have only one more stage left after this one, but they get pretty lengthy. And it kind of feels like they are a little bit too long at certain times, but you gotta, you know, it's the end of the game or the end of the story. You know, kind of getting there at least, so it only makes sense. But yeah, we are exploring an inside of a ruins, Indiana Jones style. We have a bunch of rings to collect here. We have a lot of interesting mechanics going on here. As you can see, we are in a room that is surrounded by water. We need to hit these 3 switches like the beautiful red light of joy is telling us to do. Meanwhile, we're going to travel in the water on top of a giant stone snake, I guess is what you would call this thing. So this thing is going to get us around this room because obviously Sonic cannot swim properly, which is very unfortunate. But we need to only ride it as long as it takes to get to each of these switches. Now, unfortunately, yeah, you do have to raise the water level each time you want to hit one of these switches, and then of course wait for that giant snake-like creature to approach you. In order to, you know, get from one point to the other. Not too big of a deal. It can be a little bit, maybe, I don't know, tedious to kind of wait on it. I mean, it's not like it takes like hours to get to you or anything, but for speedrunners, this is probably not one of their favorite parts of the game. Yeah, of course, we're going to have a spike trap that's going to, you know, come down on our head in a very aggressive manner. That's always good. Jump over here. We're going to raise the water level one more time. Go and hit this. No, hit it, I say. Hit the switch, I say. Jump on our big snake friend here. I don't know really how, I'm not sure how the thing is moving underwater. It's not really hooked up to anything. If it's, you know, electronic, if it's, you know, relying on some sort of electrical power system, I don't know how that thing is operating underwater. We're just going to take our word, or we're just going to go with it, kind of wing it a little bit, and just say that that thing is a magical stone snake. That's what we'll call it. Now this is the end of the room here, but I still needed to hit one more switch, so unfortunately we have to take the snake ride one more time to get over here and hit the last switch. So yeah, they are found out of order, which is kind of interesting, but we got them all pressed, and that's all that really matters to get out of this gigantic water room. One bad thing about this room is if you do fall in the water, you have to yeah, pretty much hit all the water switches again. You have to make your way all the way back up to the top. Even if you've hit all 3 switches to open that door, because yeah, I mean, it's filled with water. You're not going to be able to make your way up here without resetting the water levels. Kind of dumb, but luckily we didn't have to deal with that. I have had many times in the past though where that's happened, and I fell down, didn't land on the snake. Landing on that thing is not that easy. I made it look, pretty simple, but I played the game enough times to really, be vigilant when it comes to landing on certain platforms. So it is a little glitchy at times because it does move kind of weird. So I don't really, I completely understand if there's people out there that have done that many times. We have now entered a very darkened room. This room is pretty interesting because we have some lights here. Go and grab this shield just in case I need it. Not going to help me if I fall in the water, of course, because that's an automatic death. Avoiding these spike traps on the floor. Yeah, you can see a bunch of mirrors out there to the left. If you turn this light and move it in the direction of the mirrors, you will light up the room a little bit, allowing you to kind of see where you're going. I've done this level so many times, I pretty much know it like the back of my hand, but we're going to light it up anyway. So yeah, this is kind of it almost kind of reminds me of some of the puzzles in like some of the Legend of Zelda games where you have like the mirror shield and you're reflecting light off of the shield. I don't know if they had any inspiration from Zelda. This was the first Sonic game that was published by Nintendo, and of course I'm going to die here. I thought this was it always reminded me of those 3D Zelda puzzles where you're reflecting light off of Link's shield in order to open up, other rooms in some of the other some of the temples, like maybe like Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask. Great games. Got to give them shout outs before we die again. Man, I'm doing a hell of a job. And look at all those extra lives I have though. I mean, I'm just burning through them like no other. I guess it's a good thing that I went ahead and accumulated a bunch of extra lives because we are burning them away like no other right now. We have a line of rings here, so we know what to do here. We'll go ahead and charge up our light speed dash. We'll go ahead and dash on through there. Finally hitting another checkpoint. That way we do not have to redo that crap ever again. Cool little water slide section here. We actually are thrown down a little waterfall, so I guess this ruins has pretty much everything inside of it. You can pretty much live in here, maybe call it your own if you wanted to. But we have another checkpoint there, and now we have a camera change, and we are running away from a gigantic boulder. Now this section, I know we've had a lot of these type of little somatic sections in all the Sonic stages that we've done already. I'm sorry, it reminds me of Crash Bandicoot when you're running away from that giant boulder. Boulder Dash, I believe is the name of the stage. Kind of cool. Again, I don't know if there's any inspiration there, but yeah, it adds a little bit of intensity, a little bit of excitement, so you can't really, hate on it. And now we have entered the Room of Hell. No, really, this room isn't that bad. However, by hitting these switches, you will actually build these paths, these pathways, and they will essentially indicate that they are walkable once they are lit up. They are a little touchy though, I have to say. I've always played through this level, I've always thought this, where once you do light up these paths and get these all connected, they do change your gravity direction. So once you jump on that blue square, you're essentially going to just, you're essentially going to be thrown to the wall as if you were a magnet on a fridge. If you jump around too many times or move around too much like I did there, instead of just letting it pull you to the wall, you'll fall off a numerous amount of times. And that's just something I've always kind of struggled with. Even still today, you can see I'm not really, all I gotta do is jump on this. There we go. So you just want to be careful. You just, don't want to move too quickly. It's hard to do that in a Sonic stage, of course. Balance yourself on this giant rotating square platform there, and then you can make your way over here. We have a bunch of traps here, man. Again, it just kind of reminds you of like an Indiana Jones type of stage. There's pretty much one of these types of stages in almost every 3D platformer I think I've ever played or can even think of. So yeah, I mean, it's not really original, I guess, for a platformer to have a stage like this. But for this game, I think they do it pretty well. It's pretty lengthy. It looks really cool. It does fit the storyline with the game. We have an ancient ruins. We have an entire area that's dedicated to a mystical ruins as well, literally called Mystic Ruins. So it fits well with the game and with the storyline. But here is the end. We have nothing to collect there. No Chaos Emerald, no animal capsule, just the end of the ruins. So we are good to go.
Yeah! Whoa, what's this? A mural! What's this place? Where am I? This is really weird.
This is a land we have not yet seen here in the world of Sonic Adventure. Just going to take a moment to admire this beautiful scenery. This place is probably one of my favorite locations in the game. Very quiet, very mystical. If you go back here, you'll see a door that takes us nowhere. There's only one direction we can go. We're going to make it epic and head on over. Who is this? What's going on here?
Why did this have to happen? It's terrible. I must stop this now.
What was that all about? I don't think I'm dreaming here. Eggman! What's he doing here? Well, never mind. This time I'll get him good!
That damn Eggman, he's just always causing so much headache. I mean, he's always there when we don't want him to be. This right here is a statue of an echidna. It's the same species that both Knuckles and that mysterious female echidna that we've been seeing in these flashbacks has the same species that they are. Fun fact, yeah, I actually did not know what the hell an echidna was when I was younger. Obviously, the first time playing this game, I knew what a hedgehog was, but I had no idea that Knuckles was based off of a real creature. They are located primarily in Australia and New Guinea. Echidnas are, so kind of cool. Yeah, kind of the same as Crash Bandicoot. Never really knew what a Bandicoot was either. So, but yeah, out there, as you can see, Eggman has actually created his own base or HQ. Yeah, so he's actually destroying precious land in order to lay down his real estate. So he is one of those greedy bastards. Here we have a researcher out in the jungle, kind of wandering around. I've been an explorer for 25 years, and my sixth sense tells me I'm close. Another 20 more feet in that direction you're heading there, sir, and you will find something pretty interesting. I don't know if you're going far enough. What do you have to say? I've been in the jungle for months, and my wife is in Station Square. I'm so lonely without her. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so apparently these are the researchers, the exploration party that was sent out to the jungle. They never returned, but we did find them. I don't know how the hell they're still lost. They're just kind of pacing back and forth. I don't know about you, but even if I didn't have a compass, that would not be the first thing I would do to try to get my bearings together. So, but anyways, yeah, I guess they are okay with being lost. Is this the same guy? Yep, been in the jungle for months, and my wife since, yeah, okay, we've already listened to this. Well, I'm sure your wife is very lonely without you, sir. You might want to get back over there before she finds a new man. Just kidding, I don't know. You know, if someone's husband is lost in the jungle for months, you know, what would a wife do? Like, she can't call. I mean, I don't think he's got reception out here, so I think he's kind of screwed. But anyways, yeah, as you can see, there's a little secret crevice over there. Do not forget about that. We are going to be needing to go in there later as a different character for something coming up a little bit later on. Right here, didn't really mean to show this, but it's a another Sonic emblem. We are not going to collect that right now. Because we are going to do a separate video for all of the extra hidden emblems. Right here you can actually pull up a map, and if you look at the top right corner, Big's house is actually located here in the jungle as well. Big the Cat obviously is very well known in the Sonic universe. and obviously is a playable character in this game. We'll get into his story much later on. But yeah, we can actually find his house, which is right here. So he's got a gigantic tree right here in the middle of the jungle, and then he's actually set up a nice little residence here. He's got his own mailbox, gigantic bed for the big guy. And yeah, he's got a nice little setup here. I don't know, I would live here. It's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty sweet pad here. You have a nice view of the jungle. I mean, no neighbors to bother you. You can pretty much do whatever the hell you want. You can make as much noise as you want. You can also have your own peace and quiet. He, of course, lives right on top of a river here. You got water. I'm sure you can find food here. There's probably a bunch of fruit trees somewhere that we haven't found. Yeah, I'm kind of jealous of Big, not gonna lie. Here's the entrance to Eggman's base. This very large, suspicious looking bridge will take us to the base. As we can see here, we have a couple of different versions of Sonic. This is actually Mecha Sonic enclosed in this case here, and this is Metal Sonic. Two of Eggman's inventions that are Sonic lookalikes, so kind of interesting. We kind of know them from some other games as well. But yeah, kind of cool little Easter egg there. They are seen only in this location in the game, so pretty fascinating. The only thing left to do here is this little puzzle. So this is a light puzzle. You essentially have to get all 6 of these lights lit up, and that will open the door to the final stage. Whichever one you step on is going to affect the ones beside of it. So whichever one you step on will either light up or dim both of the lights that are on the left and right side of it. So you just have to kind of figure that out. It's not really hard, so really not too bad. But this is Final Egg. This is the final stage of Sonic's story. So this is essentially Eggman's lair, essentially, and we are getting much closer to the end. All we have to do is get to the end of the stage, and we are taking on Dr. Robotnik himself. We have a lot more obstacles to deal with this time around. Obviously, we are inside of Eggman's base, so we're going to be facing off with pretty much all of his main robots. He has an entire robotic army that we need to destroy. Because they are in our path, and we're gonna do just that. That way we can get to this guy, defeat him once and for all, and stop his plan for world domination. We have a lot of these lasers. We have a lot of these laser machines. If you do destroy them, they will that will ultimately destroy the lasers. So really not too difficult there. We have some conveyor belts we're going to be platforming over as well, and obviously a lot more death traps for us to deal with also. This stage is really not too bad. It's pretty lengthy. It is the final stage. I think for a final stage, I'm pretty satisfied with this. I think wow, holy crap. Yeah, this part can get a little glitchy. I don't know, I think it's kind of cool that we are, getting in more of a robotic and mecha atmosphere here. And then we have a little bit of a tunnel here. Cool little speed boosters there to give us a little bit more momentum. We have a lot of these moving platforms here. You do want to be careful not to fall. I have done this many times. But yeah, you're just going to jump from one to the other. I would advise to take your time kind of through this part because, again, you can fall off pretty easily if you're not careful of your movements, and you just want to make sure you're not going a little bit too fast there. But I do like these tunnels. These tunnels kind of allow you to kind of regain some more momentum and speed. I guess it's a good time to kind of maybe recap my thoughts and opinions on the Sonic story. I know we're not quite done with it yet, but we are pretty much at the tail end here. I really enjoyed it. It is the longest portion of the entire game, so it's a little bit interesting because it's not really what you're going to be expecting for the remainder of the game. The rest of the character stories are much, much shorter. A lot more concise. Even the cutscenes, I feel like Sonic pretty much has the most of them just because his story does go on for the longest amount of time. It's initially it is setting up a lot of stuff that we're going to be seeing for the other characters here coming up soon. But one thing I will say, and I kind of already talked about this, but it is a pretty major negative for my just for this game and my thoughts on it, is the cutscenes and some of the story is kind of repeated. And for some of the later character stories, like we're going to be playing as Tails for his story coming up next after this one. And how did I die there? Wait, what? Did I fall down the chute or something? What the hell? That was weird. But anyways, yeah, so basically I just feel like they kind of repeat. They literally copy and paste certain cutscenes that we've already seen in Sonic's segment here. Coming up for like Tails, even Knuckles I think has a few repeated cutscenes, just with more of an emphasis on the actual character you're playing. So instead of like maybe Sonic talking more in the cutscene, it's Tails, you know, for playing during Tails' story. So that alone, I just don't really care for, because again, it just feels very repetitive. It almost feels like, you know, some of the characters' stories kind of blend together too much, where it almost feels like they could have been, you know, they could have maybe condensed some of those, or gave us some new cutscenes from a different perspective. I don't know, it just kind of feels a little bit repetitive overall and kind of redundant. But overall, I think Sonic's story is done pretty well, and it sets up a lot of stuff that we're going to be seeing some payoff for, some kind of sad stuff coming up later. I don't want to spoil too much, but again, this game is pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, and as much as the cutscenes and the dialogue can be kind of cheesy, you know, kind of typical 1990s type of dialogue and text, it does kind of hit you in the heartstrings a little bit, because there is a lot of stuff coming up, especially with that mysterious female echidna that we've, you know, kind of seen a little bit of in Sonic's flashbacks, or you know, essentially when he was warped to that little mysterious island. A lot of that coming up is, you know, that's really set up for a lot of stuff coming up. Holy what did I do there? You can watch where I'm going here. But yeah, there's a lot of setup basically in Sonic's story, and it's kind of exciting to see it play out throughout the other characters' stories, because we are going to see, you know, a continuation of it, but also a lot of other new stuff as well. So there is a lot of newer scenes and newer story that we are going to be getting into as well. So I guess overall, yeah, I mean, I enjoy Sonic's story. His stages probably have the most fun qualities to them. Not only because you can just speed right through them and you can kind of, you know, speed run through the game, especially in this segment, but there's a lot of charm, there's a lot of interesting things going on, like, you know, right at the beginning at Emerald Coast, we're being chased by a damn orca. I mean, that kicking off the game, to me, is just, I don't know, it just makes it, you know, fun, exciting, action-packed, you know, and again, is one of the reasons why I will always have this game, you know, in my brain and in my heart, for nostalgic reasons, but also because it just stands out more than a lot of the other 3D Sonic games, with the exception of maybe Sonic Adventure 2. I think the voice acting was really spot on for this game and Adventure 2. I think maybe it's more of the actual editing of the voice clips itself that kind of got a little bit weird and jarring. Like, I think Tails has a couple of lines that I pointed out that are, you know, kind of weird, and they don't really fit well with, you know, the characters' you know, mouths, movements of their mouths or things like that, or I don't know, but those are kind of small nitpicks. I think this game, again, just really really has more of an emphasis on the actual characters' personalities, and personalities really shine. Even Amy, I mean, I think Amy is probably the most charismatic character in this entire game, and we've only seen a little bit of her yet, but just in Sonic's segment of the game, you know, she has so much shine and so much personality and charisma that it makes you fascinated and very eager to get to her story as well, and she has a lot of interesting stuff, actually. She's probably one of the more interesting stories of the game when it comes to her, you know, her direct storyline and her, you know, kind of her impact that she has on the story, as well as just kind of the stuff that she's going to be involved in as well. But yeah, so a little bit, we've kind of seen snippets of pretty much every character's involvement in the game, and kind of, you know, set up for what we're going to be seeing play out with their individual stories. So it's very exciting to get to those. But yeah, just the repetitiveness of the cutscenes, it takes a little bit away from the immersion, but overall it's still good stuff. So, man, we're pretty much going to see every type of Eggman robot enemy that we've ever encountered in the game, plus some new ones. Like these guys we've not really encountered at all. If you take them out very fast, you can easily you know, you can easily destroy them. As you can see, there was a Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles doll. That's something that we're going to not really find out the purpose of until much later in the game. One of the last characters we will be playing as actually will kind of reveal what those are used for. Kind of funny though, but we get here, that'll be it. That's the end of the final stage. There's only one thing left to do, and it is to take on the bald fat man. Take him on directly.
Yeah,
We're not taking any more We're here, Eggman. We're ready to rumble.
Well, if it isn't my pal Sonic, I'm surprised you made it this far.
Hold it right there, Eggman!
This is it. This is the final standoff against Dr. Robotnik himself. He is inside of the Egg Viper. This thing can do quite a few different attacks on you. So it's going to start off with this laser attack. You just want to run around your arena here that you were given and avoid the lasers in any way, shape, or form. Once Eggman exposes himself to you like he did just there is when you want to take the opportunity to attack him. Pretty simple fight, honestly, for a final boss fight in this story. He's also going to do that huge explosive attack where he will fire one gigantic laser and it will cause a giant explosion. Pretty easy to avoid. He's going to then give you a little bit of a pathway that you need to use your homing attack on in order to reach him to cause more damage. You're going to be switching from this set of platforms to the other set of platforms quite frequently, pretty much every time you attack him. So get used to doing that. Hit absolutely nothing at all when that happens because it can cause you to fall off if you move around too much. That's it. I mean, that's really all there is for right now. We are essentially in phase, I guess technically phase 1. We've already hit him 3 times. So he is going to move into another phase, but we'll talk about that once we get there. And here it is. So this phase, he is actually going to travel over to the set of platforms that you are located on. When he does this, he's going to either shoot those lasers at you like crazy, which you just have to avoid them, or he is going to do another attack, which he has yet to do, where he's essentially going to send 2 parts of his machine at you, which I think he's going to do right here. Yep. So he has these little spinning top, spiky top looking things. He's going to spin them directly at you. You want to make sure you are as far away from him as possible in order to land on top of them. If you fail to do this, or you fail to damage him when he's in this phase, he will continue to demolish your platforms, giving you less and less space to work with. It's important to take him out as fast as possible once you're in this final phase. Otherwise, you're pretty much at risk of dying, because once these platforms have demolished altogether, and he's essentially destroyed every single last one, you have no more room to work with. You're done. So you want to make sure you are taking advantage of this moment. And pretty much one mess up is all you're going to be given, and I've already screwed up already. So as you can see, the space is growing smaller and smaller. This is pretty much my last chance, actually. So hopefully I don't screw this up. I don't even think I've ever done this in a single blow. But that's it. That's all there is to the Egg Viper. Not too challenging of a fight. It's mainly just kind of a race to the finish here. You want to go as fast as possible. But it looks like he is up to something. He's not quite done yet. He's going to blow up one of these 2 platforms. You want to stand on the one that he doesn't blow up. Okay, I guess that time he didn't. That's actually unusual, because normally he will take out one of these platforms. I guess that was a glitch or something, but he didn't do it that time. So we got an easy, kind of an easy ending there. I'm not going to really complain too much. But that's it for Sonic's story. Eggman has been taken down. Let's... And that is it for the Sonic story portion of Sonic Adventure. Thank you for joining me in this wild, crazy ride. I don't want to say too much more about the story. I've kind of already given my recap of my thoughts on this segment of the game. Of course, we have 5 more characters. That's right, yes, 5 more characters to play through the game as. We have quite a bit of story left to reveal. But yeah, overall, the stages in Sonic story is very fun. Stages are really cool and very fun to kind of just speed through, and again, seeing what little gimmicks kind of pop pop up at us, kind of like the giant orca getting chased by that. Running down a giant skyscraper. I mean, every part of this story is so memorable. All these stages have something very unique about them that will always, have a long-lasting memory in my brain. Of course, skating or snowboarding away from a giant snow avalanche and ice cap, that was fun. And a lot of other stuff to mention as well. I could go on and on, but I don't want to talk, again, too much about it since I pretty much have already done that this entire playthrough. But that is it for Sonic's story. Thank you for joining me. And tune in next time when we take on the one and only multi-tailed fox. Yes, so Tails, the story is coming up next. But in the meantime, go ahead and enjoy this awesome music. This is J Guy Plays, powering off.
Place all your bets.